Greetings film fans and JPC News viewers, welcome to Not Too Critical Reviews. I'm your host Renard, and I have more reviews for several films that further demonstrate why January is considered a dump month for the year in cinema. I will also review a Best Picture nominee in an expanding limited release, an opportunity I hope anyone who's watching and listening to this video will take. Let's begin with our first film, the raunchy comedy Dirty Grandpa, directed by Dan Mazer and starring Robert De Niro and Zac Efron.
Don't understand why you have to drive down to Florida. We just had the funeral.
Your grandmother and I were there at this time every year.
It just seems like we're cutting it a little close with the rehearsal brunch on Friday. I'm just freaking out.
I know.
Can you take my car, sweetie? I need the SUV for the wine.
Now let's get in that giant labia you drove up in and get out of here.
It would not be unreasonable, in the opinion of this critic, to say that Dirty Grandpa has surpassed even Norm of the North as a reprehensible waste of cinema for 2016. This film clings to the worst tendencies of modern cinematic adult comedy, repeated to death gags being one of them.
Daytona, are you kidding me right now?
And wraps them in crass vulgarity that seeks to shock instead of entertain. This film further conveys a juvenile sense of adulthood, the worst offender of which is the recently widowed libido-driven Dick Kelly, portrayed by Robert De Niro, whose poor late career choices, save for his collaborations with director David O. Russell, should make one question about the whereabouts of the De Niro that once excelled in Taxi Driver and won Academy Awards for The Godfather Part 2 and Raging Bull. But no, the once consistently great thespian would rather pursue a creepy, cringeworthy college student played by Aubrey Plaza.
The greatest gift a grandson can give his grandfather was a hot college girl who wants to have unprotected sex with him before he dies.
So you guys want to tag along for a bit, maybe? Party some babies into us?
On the initial bright side, Zac Efron's character Jason Kelly is the only potentially redeemable character of this garbage, but his character's utter lack of backbone renders him into a guinea pig for the film's argument for a freewheeling, undetermined adulthood over a materialistic, but nonetheless well-off adulthood. Hard choice, isn't it?
Are you kidding me right now? Grandma's funeral was yesterday.
She told me on her deathbed, you get back out there again.
Hey, Grandpa.
Did he just call you Grandpa?
What the
Want to be a lamb and get that for me?
I give Dirty Grandpa 0 out of 5 stars. Let's move on to much better films, shall we? For example, the recent Best Picture nominated drama Room, directed by now Best Director nominee Lenny Abrahamson.
Down the tracks came a hobo hiking, and he said, boys, I'm not turning. I'm headed for a land that's far away, beside the crystal fountain. I guess they still can't hear us.
Few films have succeeded in magnifying the concentrated intimacy of emotional journeys in the manner that Room has. Brie Larson's Joy gives the powerhouse lead female performance of 2015.
But he pretended his dog was sick.
What's the dog's name?
Jack, there wasn't a dog. He was trying to trick me, okay? There wasn't a dog. Old Nick stole me.
I want a different story.
No, this is the story that you get.
But her much younger male co-star, Jacob Tremblay, steals the show as her son Jack when the camera and his voiceover marvels at the world that extends beyond the small shed that caged them.
I know.
Truck.
Wiggle out.
Wiggle out.
Jump.
Jump.
Run.
Run.
Jack beholds the sky, a dog, a shower, and Legos for the first time, and the audience, this critic included, experiences those for the first time as well. While the life after abduction second half doesn't quite measure up to the harrowing, isolated first half, the film does manage to cross the finish line with a concluding scene that may draw forth a tear or two. Plot summaries cannot do this film justice, people. Room is an uplifting cinematic experience only for those who surrender themselves to a screen that plays it.
There's a land that's clear and bright. I'm headed for a land that's
Thanks for saving our little girl.
beside the crystal fountain. You're gonna love it.
What? The world.
I give Room a high 4 out of 5 stars. Our third film for this week is the newest young adult sci-fi novel adaptation, The Fifth Wave, directed by Jay Blakeson.
Drop your weapon.
You first. Drop it.
I know you're human.
How?
Because if you were one of them, you would have shot me already.
In this post-Hunger Games and interim Harry Potter era, studios are scrambling for young adult franchises to adapt for the big screen. The Fifth Wave, in this critic's opinion, actually stands on its own as a decent franchise starter, even though it undeniably treads on rough ground whenever actor Alex Rowe is on screen. The entire storyline involving him almost becomes its own heavy-handed yet underdeveloped romance.
You won't get very far on your own. Grab the gun and snap my hand away. Good.
The rest of the film, on the other hand, is a fair, multi-pronged look at the progression of an alien invasion, with a strong-willed Chloe Grace Moretz at the helm.
The others took my brother, and I'm gonna go get him.
Some plot conveniences and imperfect special effects aside, the seriousness of the characters in response to the invasion is refreshing and admirable, particularly those kids, unassured Nick Robinson among them, drafted into the fight against their alien oppressors. This franchise did enough of a job to intrigue, and in this critic's mind, deserves its shot at a sequel.
If the Fifth Wave succeeds, humanity will be wiped from the face of the earth.
I give The Fifth Wave 3 out of 5 stars. The final film for this episode is the psychological horror film The Boy, directed by William Brent Bell.
We've had a number of potential nannies come through already. Do you think you can manage?
Of course.
I'm Malcolm.
Hi.
I'm the grocery boy. Well, grocery man.
Lead the way.
Allow me to introduce Mr. Hilscher. And this is our son, Brahms.
Modern cinematic horror doesn't exactly have its shades of gray, only passionate love or passionate hate. There is, however, a somewhat narrow middle segment. Indifference, with a touch or two of the impressive on one side and a touch or two of the unimpressive on the other. This film, which stars Lauren Cohen of The Walking Dead fame and Rupert Evans, falls under the former. The Boy does its best to favor dread and tension as opposed to the typical jump scares, although those most definitely find their way into this film. Save for the film's final moments, a choice for which I am a little bit grateful. But after all is said and done, the film relies for the most part on those old horror cliches, such as the protagonist choosing not to follow key instructions from the start, and always acting too curious when a sudden noise breaks the silence. And while the tired trope of a seemingly possessed porcelain doll or any other inanimate object as the plot's foundation does get fairly subverted late in the film, it is let down in the end by the substitute reveal.
This is like some kind of magic trick, right?
It's not a trick. Tell me about the real Brahms.
He was downright strange.
I give The Boy 2 out of 5 stars. This week's cinema going advice? Go and see Room if you can, but a trip to see The Fifth Wave wouldn't hurt if you're looking for an actual decent young adult franchise starter in a post-Hunger Games world, and you're still waiting for that Harry Potter spin-off to come out in November. Continue to prioritize Oscar contenders, Room, The Revenant, The Hateful Eight, and The Big Short. Congrats to your PGA win, by the way, before they depart the cinema and take their seats before the Oscar stage. Thanks for tuning into these reviews. Have you seen any good films lately? Old? New? In the theater? At home? What are your thoughts on the films in this episode? Please be sure to let us know in the comments section down below. Please give this video a like, and also be sure to check out any of our show's previous episodes by subscribing to the JPC News channel and liking the JPC News Facebook page. I'm Renard, and this is Not Too Critical Reviews. See you next time.